Beyond Resilience, the Collective Power of Black Women Entrepreneurs. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm thrilled to share insights from my recent conversation with Danei Phillips, a visionary leader who's transforming how we understand Black women's entrepreneurship in America. Danei isn't just documenting the remarkable rise of Black women business owners. She's revealing something far more revolutionary: the power of collective infrastructure building that's reshaping our economic landscape. Danai Phillips stands at the forefront of a movement that challenges our fundamental understanding of success. Through her groundbreaking research and advocacy, she has illuminated pathways that were previously hidden, creating space for voices that have been systematically silenced for generations. Her work doesn't just analyze trends, it actively shapes a more equitable future. When I first spoke with Danae, I expected to hear familiar narratives about individual grit and determination. Instead, she challenged me to see something much deeper happening, something that fundamentally shifts how we should think about entrepreneurship among Black women. The real story, Donai told me, isn't just about overcoming adversity as individuals. It's about building ecosystems and collective infrastructure. This perspective is transformative. While we often celebrate Black women for their resilience and entrepreneurial spirit, and rightfully so, Danai Phillips helps us understand that the most profound revolution isn't happening at the individual level. It's happening through networks, through community building, through intentional ecosystem development. Consider this striking statistic Danae shared. Black women now drive nearly 89% of net new women owned firms daily. Let that sink in for a moment. 89%. Despite facing some of the most significant barriers to capital, mentorship, and market access, Black women are leading the entrepreneurial charge in America. But here's where Denai's insight becomes truly powerful. The success we're witnessing isn't just about more businesses being started. It's about how these entrepreneurs are creating networks and support systems so future generations can access capital, mentorship, and market opportunities more efficiently than ever before. This ecosystem approach fundamentally challenges the myth of solo success in entrepreneurship and is changing everything. For too long, we've celebrated the lone wolf entrepreneur, the individual who, against all odds, builds something from nothing. We've romanticized the struggle, the sleepless nights, the rejection after rejection. We've turned entrepreneurial hardship into a badge of honor. But what if that narrative isn't just incomplete? What if it's actually harmful? What if it blinds us to the true nature of sustainable success? During our conversation, Danai Phillips outlined three key insights that I believe everyone in this room needs to understand about the transformation underway. First, the acceleration of Black women's entrepreneurship isn't solely a personal journey, it's rooted in collective action. By prioritizing mentorship, community building, and resource sharing, we're witnessing a transformation that benefits entire communities. This isn't about individual women pulling themselves up by their bootstraps, it's about women building ladders for each other. Second, despite controlling $3.9 trillion dollars in revenue across all US employer firms owned by women, disparities persist. Women entrepreneurs receive only 45% of requested loan amounts compared to men's 55%, with even higher denial rates for Black founders. Recognizing these gaps helps us advocate for structural change. The problem isn't a lack of viable businesses, it's a system that fails to recognize and support them adequately. And third, success is multifaceted. While failure rates remain higher among Black owned firms, about 20% higher than white owned businesses, female founded venture backed startups actually achieve better exit rates, 19.4%, than their male counterparts. This proves that when given resources and opportunity, diverse founders deliver results. The data is clear. This isn't just about equity, it's about economic opportunity. But statistics only tell part of the story. Danai Phillips shared several powerful examples that illustrate exactly how this ecosystem building approach is creating lasting change. Let me tell you about Walker's Legacy, a global platform founded by Natalie Madeira Caulfield. Inspired by Madam C.J. Walker, the first self made female millionaire in America, Caulfield created Walker's Legacy to empower multicultural women entrepreneurs through education programs and networking events. Like many Black female founders, Caulfield faced significant underfunding and limited access to established business networks. But rather than focusing solely on her individual success, she prioritized creating infrastructure, offering workshops on financial literacy and leadership development while building strategic partnerships with organizations like Google for Startups. The results have been remarkable. Walker's legacy has reached over 40 cities nationwide. Thousands have participated in its programs, with alumni reporting increased business revenues and capacity. Perhaps most importantly, the organization has helped shape national conversations around inclusive entrepreneurship, ecosystems, and inspired similar platforms globally. This is exactly the kind of collective infrastructure building that Danei Phillips identified as the true revolution in Black women's entrepreneurship. Or consider Part D's SICK, co founded by Jewel Burke Solomon. Partpic developed visual search technology for industrial supply chains, technology so innovative that Amazon eventually acquired the company. As Denai explained, Burke Solomon was one of very few Black female tech startup founders seeking venture capital between 2013 and 2016. She encountered significant skepticism from investors unfamiliar with both her demographic background and her technical vision. But rather than giving up, she leveraged accelerator programs like TechStars Atlanta and built strategic alliances with corporate partners who recognized the value in her product beyond traditional venture capital circles. The outcome? Partpic successfully raised over $1 million in seed funding and grew its user base rapidly enough to attract Amazon's acquisition interest. Following the acquisition, Burks Solomon didn't simply take her success and move on. She became head of Google Startups US and continues to influence the tech landscape as an investor and advisor, supporting next generation minority led startups. This pattern of success, followed by reinvestment in the community, is precisely what makes the current wave of Black women's entrepreneurship so powerful. It's not just about individual wins, it's about changing the system itself. Perhaps the most striking example Danae Phillips shared was the Fearless Fund, co founded by Arian Simone specifically to invest early stage capital into businesses led by women of color. The challenge Simone set out to address is staggering. Traditional venture capital allocates less than 0.5% annually toward companies led exclusively by African American females. This makes fundraising daunting, even for ventures with proven market demand and strong growth metrics. The Fearless Fund's solution wasn't just to provide capital, though that's certainly important. They created targeted funds and grant competitions alongside robust mentorship and coaching cohorts designed explicitly around the unique needs and challenges facing women of color entrepreneurs. They've also actively lobbied policymakers, banks, and foundations regarding equity and inclusion standards within finance sector practices. Since its inception in 2019, the Fearless Fund has funded dozens of high potential startups, catalyzed follow on investments totaling millions more, and increased visibility and media coverage, driving public awareness and support. Several portfolio companies have reached national distribution contracts and new markets faster than industry averages, due largely to the Fearless Fund's programming and network effects. As Danei Phillips emphasized in our conversation, the Fearless Fund embodies structural change through intentional resource allocation and ecosystem development. It has broad implications spanning finance policy and social mobility debates. What these examples reveal, and what Danai Phillips articulates so powerfully, is that we're witnessing something far more significant than an increase in business ownership. We're seeing the creation of entirely new economic infrastructure designed by and for communities that have historically been excluded. This is why the work Danei Phillips documents matters so profoundly. It challenges us to think differently about success, about entrepreneurship, and about how lasting change happens. The traditional narrative celebrates the lone entrepreneur who overcomes impossible odds through sheer determination. And while individual grit certainly matters, Danai Phillips helps us see that the real revolution happens when determined individuals build systems that make success more accessible for everyone who follows. This perspective also helps us understand why simply pointing to the growing numbers of Black women entrepreneurs isn't enough. If we truly want to support this transformation, we need to invest in the ecosystems these entrepreneurs are building. That means addressing the persistent funding gaps Danai Phillips identified. It means recognizing that despite controlling $3.9 trillion in revenue across women owned firms, women entrepreneurs, especially Black women, still face significant barriers to capital. It means acknowledging the data showing that when given resources and opportunity, diverse founders deliver results. Female founded venture backed startups achieve better exit rates than their male counterparts. This isn't just about equity, it's about economic opportunity for everyone. Most importantly, it means shifting our focus from celebrating individual success stories to supporting collective infrastructure building. The mentorship programs, the networking events, the targeted funds, the policy advocacy, these are the elements that will create lasting change. As Denai Phillips told me, the most profound shift underway isn't just more businesses being started, it's how these entrepreneurs are creating networks and support systems so future generations can access capital, mentorship, and market opportunities more efficiently than ever before. I stand before you today not just to share information, but to ignite action. The revolution in Black women's entrepreneurship demands more than our attention, it requires our participation. Ask yourself, what systems are you part of that could be more inclusive? What resources do you control that could be directed towards ecosystem building? What networks do you belong to that could be open to others? This isn't about charity, it's about recognizing untapped potential and unleashing economic power that benefits us all. It's about dismantling outdated structures that limit innovation and growth. The data is clear, the examples are compelling, the path forward is evident. When we invest in collective infrastructure rather than individual heroes, we create sustainable change that transforms not just businesses, but entire communities. The question is no longer whether we should support Black women entrepreneurs. The question is whether we have the courage to reimagine entrepreneurship itself, to move beyond the myth of solo success and embrace the revolutionary power of collective action. The future of our economy depends on it. And thanks to visionaries like Danei Phillips, we now know exactly what that future can look like. Will you help build it?